Before we start, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now, because what I'm about to share with you today could quietly change the next 10 years of your life. I want you to imagine two people standing at the exact same starting line. Same age, same background, same amount of money in the bank, same 24 hours in the day. 10 years later, one of them is living the life they always dreamed of, and the other one is stay stuck exactly where they started, wondering what happened. Same start, completely different finish. And I promise you, it wasn't luck, it wasn't talent, it wasn't even intelligence. It was 5 simple rules. 5 rules that one person understood and lived by every single day, and the other person never even knew existed. Today, I'm going to walk you through those 5 rules, the same ones that separate winners from everyone else. And by the time we're done, you're going to know exactly which one you've been missing. Now, before we get into it, let me tell you why I trust these rules so much. I've spent years studying people who win consistently, in business, in health, in relationships, in life. And I've spent just as much time studying people who never quite get there, no matter how hard they try. And here's what I noticed. It's never about who works the hardest. Some of the most exhausted, overworked people I know are also the most stuck. It's not about who's the smartest either. I've met brilliant people who can't get out of their own way. What separates the two groups, every single time, comes down to 5 decisions, 5 choices that winners make on repeat, almost without thinking, while everyone else makes the opposite choice without even realizing it. So if you've ever felt like you're doing everything right, but still not moving forward, stay with me, because this is going to explain a lot. Let's start with rule number 1. Winners take full ownership of their life, and everyone else waits for permission or blames the outside world. This is the foundation everything else sits on. So listen closely. Most people, when things go wrong, immediately look outward. The economy's bad. Their boss doesn't appreciate them. They didn't get the right opportunities. Their family didn't support them. And look, sometimes those things are true. Life isn't fair, and bad breaks happen to good people. But here's the difference. A winner hears all of that and still asks one question. What can I control? What can I do right now, today, with what I have? A person who's stuck asks a completely different question. Why is this happening to me? See, the first question put you in the driver's seat. The second one put you in the passenger seat, waiting for someone else to take you where you want to go. I want you to think about this for a second. If you truly believe your success depends on someone else changing, someone else noticing you, someone else giving you a chance, then you've handed the keys to your own life to somebody else. And that's a dangerous place to live, because now your future depends on their decisions, not yours. Ownership means something different. It means saying, this is my life, this is my responsibility. And even if I didn't create this situation, I am the only one who can change it. That single shift in thinking is the starting point for everything that follows. Without it, none of the other 4 rules will work, because you'll always have an excuse ready in your back pocket. Rule number 2 is this. Winners choose discipline over motivation, while everyone else waits to feel like doing the work. Motivation is a wonderful thing when it shows up. It gets you excited, it gets you moving, it makes the hard things feel easy for a little while. The problem is, motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like weather. One day you're fired up, ready to change your whole life. And 3 days later, that fire is gone, and you're right back to your old habits. Winners understand this, so they don't build their life around motivation. They build it around discipline. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. Discipline just asks, is this the plan? And if it is, you do it, whether you feel like it or not. Think about the people you admire most, the ones who seem to have it together. I promise you, they don't feel motivated every single day. They get tired. They get bored. They have mornings where they'd rather stay in bed too. The difference is, they show up anyway. They've trained themselves to act independent of their mood. And that's a skill, not a personality trait. Anyone can build it. It starts small. Maybe it's getting up 15 minutes earlier. Maybe it's finishing one task you've been avoiding. Maybe it's simply doing the thing on your list, even when your energy is low. Each time you follow through, without waiting to feel like it, you're proving something to yourself. You're saying, I don't run on emotion, I run on commitment. And over months and years, that becomes the quiet engine behind everything a winner accomplishes, while everyone else is still waiting to feel inspired. Enough to begin. Now here's rule number 3, and this one surprises people, because it's not about doing more, it's about doing less, and doing it quietly. Winners protect their goals in silence, while everyone else announces their plans before they've actually earned anything. I want you to picture 2 people who both decide, this year I'm going to build something. Maybe it's a business, maybe it's a fitness goal, maybe it's a new skill. The first person tells everyone. They post about it. They talk about it at every dinner, every family gathering, every group chat. And here's what happens. Almost every time, the moment they share that plan, something strange occurs in the brain. They get a small hit of pride and recognition just from talking about it, as if they'd already done it. That feeling of being seen, of people nodding and saying, wow, that's amazing. It actually satisfies part of the need that used to drive them to take action. So the urgency quietly fades. Weeks pass, life gets busy, and the goal slowly dies, not because they failed, but because they never truly started, they just talked about starting. Now picture the second person. They tell almost no one. They quietly build a plan, they get to work, and they let months pass without a single announcement. There's no applause along the way, no comments, no likes, just steady, private effort. And because there's no outside validation feeding them, the only way they get that feeling of progress is by actually making progress. So they keep working. And when they finally do reveal what they've built, it's not a promise anymore. It's a result. And people are stunned, not because the idea was so unique, but because most people talk about ideas. And this person actually finished one. That's the power of protecting your goals in silence. It's not about being secretive for the sake of it. It's about not spending your energy on approval before you spent it on effort. Save the announcement for after the work is done. Rule number 4, and this is one that quietly separates people over the long run more than almost anything else. Winners treat learning as a daily habit, while everyone else assumes that once school ends, learning ends too. Think about how the world has changed just in the last 10 years. New tools, new industries, new ways of doing almost everything. The people who get left behind aren't usually the ones who lack talent. They're the ones who stop growing. They found a comfortable level of knowledge years ago and decided that was enough. Winners never make that mistake. They treat their mind the way an athlete treats their body, something that needs regular training or it starts to weaken. This doesn't mean going back to a classroom. It's much simpler than that. It's reading something useful for 15 minutes a day. It's listening to something that teaches you while you drive or exercise. It's asking better questions instead of assuming you already know the answer. Here's the part most people miss, though. It's not just about collecting information. Plenty of people consume endless content and never apply a single piece of it. Winners learn with a purpose. They ask, how does this apply to my life right now? And then they actually use it. That's the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is knowing something. Wisdom is using it. And here's why this rule matters so much for your future specifically. The version of you 5 years from now is going to be built entirely out of what you choose to learn and apply between now and then. If you commit to learning something small and useful every single day, in 5 years, you will be a different person entirely. Someone with skills, insight, and options that most people around you simply won't have because they stopped growing the day they thought they knew enough. And now rule number 5, the one that ties everything else together. Winners let their results speak, while everyone else tries to convince people with words. Have you ever noticed how some people can talk a great game? They have all the right language, all the right confidence, all the right plans, But somehow, years later, nothing has actually changed in their life. And then you meet someone else, quiet, unassuming, doesn't talk much about what they're doing. And one day you find out they've built something remarkable. A business, a body of work, a completely transformed life. And it catches you off guard because they never made a big deal about it. That's not an accident. That's a principle. Words are cheap. Anyone can say they're going to change their life. Saying it costs nothing. But results, real, visible results, those can only be earned through consistent action over time. And here's the beautiful part about this rule. When you focus on producing results, instead of producing explanations, something shifts inside you. You stop needing people to believe in your plan because you're no longer selling a plan, you're simply living it. Your confidence stops depending on outside opinions because it's now built on evidence, not promises. And when your results finally do speak, and they will, people don't just admire you, they trust you because they can see it's real. That trust, that quiet respect that comes from actually doing the thing you said you'd do is worth more than any amount of talking ever could be. So let's bring these 5 rules together because separately they're powerful, but together they completely reshape a life. Rule 1, take full ownership. Stop waiting for permission or blaming outside circumstances. Rule 2, choose discipline over motivation so your progress doesn't depend on how you feel that day. Rule 3, protect your goals in silence so your energy goes into action instead of approval. Rule 4, treat learning as a daily habit so you keep growing instead of getting left behind. And Rule 5, let your results speak so your life becomes proof instead of promises. Here's what I want you to understand. None of these rules require you to be smarter than anyone else, richer than anyone else, or more talented than anyone else. They simply require a decision to think differently, to act differently, and to stay consistent when no one is watching. That's genuinely the entire secret. It was never about some rare gift that winners have and everyone else doesn't. It's about 5 small, repeatable choices made daily, compounding quietly over months and years until one day the gap between where you are and where you want to be simply isn't there anymore. So here's my question for you. Out of these 5 rules, which one do you need to work on the most right now? Is it ownership? Is it discipline? Is it protecting your goals? Is it learning? Or is it finally letting your results do the talking? Whatever it is, don't wait for the perfect moment to start applying it. Start today, quietly, consistently, and let your life become the proof. If this gave you something to think about, make sure you're subscribed, because we share content like this regularly, and I promise you don't want to miss what's coming next. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.